Hello, my fellow vigilantes. I'm your host, Omega's Batman, and before I do my review of Hellboy, I had to let you know of a current update. This will be my last review at this current location because I have a new spot. Much all my equipment is at the other location, so I can't give you guys a full video with special effects, so I just want to give out a full apology before I do my review of Hellboy. This Hellboy movie is strictly a reboot, and this film has nothing to do with the other two Hellboy movies that came before it that was directed by Guillermo del Toro. This Hellboy movie focuses on Hellboy, who was founded as a kid during World War II, and then he grew up and started working with this paranormal research team that's main goal is to find any monsters and take them out. And then there's this evil witch that's being played by Mila Jankovic. She rises up from the darkness and causes destruction with her evil wrath, and now Hellboy and his team of his supernatural folk must work together to stop this threat. And we have the movie Hellboy. Some of the reviews didn't get released until 2 days before the film was actually going to be released in theaters. And I thought to myself, that is a bad sign. And actually, I was right, because this film was 9% on Rotten Tomatoes, and critics was blasting this film, considering this film the worst film since Fan Four Stick in 2015. But to let you guys know, after watching this movie, I thought to myself that the critics were strictly on crack, because this movie was not necessarily shit. It wasn't necessarily a good movie, but I'll explain more in my concise review. David Harbour did a good job playing the role as Hellboy. He had the charisma. He really had all the essential charm, the essential parts of the Hellboy character. I did like the design for his character, more of a rugged, more of a scarier look than Ron Perlman's version. Now, I don't want to compare this movie to Ron Perlman. I thought to myself that David Harbour in his own right was a good successor for Ron Perlman. He was actually funny, and there are some parts in the movie where I actually laugh and chuckle. There are some cool Easter eggs in this film as well that a die-hard, Hellboy fan would catch, and also there are some story elements from a few comic books from the Mike Mignola graphic novel. There is some inspiration from the Wild Hunt, and also Darkness Calls. I read 2 of those Hellboy comic books, and there's a third that this film had an inspiration from. I'm not pretty sure what the title of that graphic novel. Some few story plot points that was ripped from the pages of Mike Mignola's graphic novel, which I thought was pretty cool. This is basically a really good brain turnoff that you can enjoy for 2 hours. There were so many issues had to tie in with the lack of character development and also a lack of story plots, and this film is filled with exposition throughout the whole 2 hours. This movie became predictable. Like, for example, there is a scene in this movie where constantly characters will go inside a room filled with dead bodies, and then there's being exposition. Then it goes to a different scene where the characters go through a hallway full of dead bodies, and then there's an exposition scene. It's pretty much the scene structure is very repetitive throughout the 2 hours, and it just mind-boggled me throughout this film. This film does feel fast-paced at times. This fast-paced style takes away from the story elements, and the film has a hard time of developing certain characters, and their only source of character development is through flashback scenes. It wasn't panned out good. I felt like during those flashback scenes, they sort of rushed through the character development, so I really couldn't gravitate towards any other character outside of Hellboy. Mila Jankovic did a decent job, even though her character sort of remind me of Rasputia from Power Rangers and the main villain from Suicide Squad, Shakira. She was just fine. She was fine in some scenes, but the dialogue, when it is revolving around her character, is a little bit cringy. And some of the dialogue throughout this whole entire movie is cringy as hell. But I sort of laughed at it, so I guess it's sort of a brain turn. I guess it's sort of a good thing, as long as you turn off your brain and don't think too much about the script. And the dialogue could have been better, but for what we got, I was sort of satisfied and entertained. Editing and some of the scene structure revolving around exposition is sloppy and poorly handled, and it takes away from some of the character development. And I had a hard time gravitating towards some characters, especially Sasha Lane's character, who the film kind of forced her character in, and they didn't really develop her character, and I'm just like, where does she come from? Who is she? This film has some really cool action sequences in this movie, and that's pretty much all you will get with this movie. This film also has juicy gore scenes. There's like a plethora of gore scenes in this film. There's a gore scene that sort of remind me of a certain scene from this anime series Blood Sea, and I'm never mind. I'm just a huge nerd. There was like a plethora of gore scenes in this movie, but some of the gore scenes did feel a little bit gratuitous. Other than that, is this a film I recommend going seeing? Not really. Despite I had a decent time with this film is not complete shit. It's not the worst comic book movie since Fan Stick. It's a nice flick, you know, just a nice flick to check out, but not a film I recommend go seeing. I recommend save your money for Endgame. So guys, I'm going to give Hellboy a Val Kilmer Batman. This is strictly a guilty pleasure, and you'll find some pleasure of enjoyment with this film. David Harbour wasn't bad with his performance. He was a highlight. And Mila Jankovic, she was decent with her performance as well. But guys, that's my review of Hellboy. What do you guys think of Hellboy? Comment below. Give me your thoughts. And guys, I'll see you guys in my next review. And I will have an update video when I get everything set up at my new location. Thank you guys, you are the best, and I'm sorry for not having a lot of special effects in this video, but next video I will, once I set my studio up in my new place. Alright guys, thank you for watching. If you like everything you see and you agree, subscribe to my channel and join me in the Batman family. I'll have more Batman-tastic reviews on the way. You have been warned. Till then, ciao.